Okay, we should be live on YouTube now. Oh no, this is not looking good.
Uh-oh.
My internet is horrible. Wait, let me restart it real quick. Oh, wait, now it seems to be better.
Whatever works.
Yeah. Okay, this looks to be better. Hello there, Loaf. Okay, just gonna... New tab. YouTube. I just gotta find my link real fast. There's the thing. Okay, this looks to be better. Sure. Okay, I'm sending the link to you.
Okay.
There you go. That should be it.
Let me post it.
Okay, now the frames seem more consistent. Yes, my internet got nerfed for Gen 9. Okay, let's just wait for some people to chime in.
Why am I blocked?
I should I switch chat now and switch over to YouTube chat. YouTube chat. Oh, okay, never mind. Let's not do that then. Okay. This looks to be better. Okay. We only have a few people in so far, but
I've posted the link.
Yeah.
Safari announcements and like the plug channel. So
Yeah. This is Gen 6 music, correct? Should we wait for a bit and then get started?
Are you able to see how many people we got?
Yeah, we only have 4 people right now.
I'll probably wait. I definitely feel like there's more than 4 people that want to
Yeah, there were like 12 people before this, so... Leave a little message if you're here so we know.
I don't want to ping people again, but...
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Unless we need to.
Yeah. Okay, we have 5 people now. Okay, 6. Now the numbers are starting to increase. Okay, great. Okay, now we have 8 people watching. Awesome.
Okay.
Should we get started then?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, sure. So, we're gonna do power rankings, as said. And we're gonna do it in a quite interesting format. So we're gonna look at the teams, and then we're gonna put them on the tier list. So that looks kind of weird. So we're gonna tier all the teams, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So, should I get started with this one, or do you want to start? Okay.
You guys. Yeah.
So, Loaf of Bread is my very dear friend, and we have actually together played some NFE VGC before, and that was a ton of fun. And one of the most powerful Pokemon there, when we tested out the format, was Metang. And I believe that was why we saw that as a first pick. I really like this draft. It has a lot of different modes of offense. For example, it has this Metang, which can run the classical weakness policy with Bulldoze, which Poliwhirl can do. It has the Carcole, which is basically a mini Colossal, which also Poliwhirl can proc with either Aqua or Surf. Then we have a very nice Pokemon in Janma, which has some really good support options, but also quite good offensive stats. And then we also have a quite solid Trick Room core, 2 very good Trick Room setters. Electric is very cool, and Grimer is actually better than I thought it would be. Yeah, so it's overall a pretty flexible team with good speed stats, I think.
I definitely think I think it's well rounded. As far as speed goes, it almost can be viewed as like too central. Like it's
Yeah,
very a lot of the team is very mid speed tier, especially if they're going to be relying on like Metane to like is like one of their primary Dynamax sweepers, for example.
yeah, for sure.
As far as like the Eviolite rule, that is something we're gonna have to keep in mind when doing these power rankings. That like we're gonna have
Yes.
to strictly look at the D tiers and see what Eviolite could serve a purpose for. And I do think Yamask is a good candidate. It's so bulky naturally without Eviolite.
Yeah.
So throw max HP Eviolite and max defense or something, and it'll probably live a lot of hits.
Yeah, for
Something
sure.
I did want to touch on though, the something this team's gonna have to look out for is the ground weakness.
Oh yeah, I looked at us as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's common in a lot of drafts.
yeah.
You,
Although the team does
uh,
have 2 immunities, one from Yanma, of course, and
and the
one
levitate.
from Levitate from Electric.
Yeah,
So one of those
yeah.
weaknesses are actually an immunity, which is nice. Most times at least.
Other than like Yamask, 'cause I assume Yamask did bulldoze. Is there any other like faster bulldoze
Poliwhirl.
procs? Does
Poliwhirl has.
Poliwhirl have it? Okay,
Yeah, so Poliwhirl is
well,
like the enabler on this team. It's an
I
amazing
see.
support,
Right.
having stuff like Icy Wind, Bulldoze, Surf. I believe Aquayet as well.
Okay.
Uh,
No,
so
that's cool.
so it's generally a very powerful support Pokemon for this draft. It doesn't have the best offensive stats,
Yeah, I was gonna
decent
say in terms
defenses.
of offenses, especially in a like an NFT or an NFE standpoint,
NFT.
NFT, yeah, that took an L there. But
Yes.
in terms of like NFEs in like most draft formats, I would say base like 90 is when you're starting to break the threshold of like, okay, this Pokemon's pretty powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
And none of these Pokemon cross that line from what I see. So I
Yeah.
think weakness policy and like damage boosting items is going to be mandatory on whatever sweeper they're bringing every single week.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
don't know.
that's very fine. Fair. No,
Oh,
Yuxi, it doesn't get fake out, sadly. Which is actually one of the weaknesses of this team. It doesn't have fake out.
that is correct. That is
So
correct.
that's quite unfortunate. Fake out can be an extremely important tool on a draft. But this team kind of has... It's a very bulky team overall. One of the bulkiest teams. Just looking at these base stats, they're so high except for the speed. Most team have like less than 60 in all stats. So this team has a lot of stats to back it up. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, did the internet drop?
Oh.
Did it?
No,
no?
I mean
Oh,
I
okay.
can hear you.
Okay, good.
Oh, so
Great. So do you have any?
as far as
Hmm?
no, say that. That's about all I can say about the team.
Yeah,
all the other teams are pretty well rounded. I mean,
yeah, it's a very well-rounded team generally, and I just wanna talk a bit about Yanma. It's my favorite pick in this whole format. It's so speedy. It has a great support move pool in Tailwind. It has Sleep Powder, and a lot of different other stuff. And And it has
Right.
3 very useful abilities. It can run Speed Boost if you want to get even more speedier. It has Frisk, which can be awesome if you know how to play with it. Just scout out the opponent's lead. And Compound Ice Sleep Powder is, of course, very, very good.
No, for sure. As far as ranking teams, I forget what the tier is. It
Oh, yeah.
S tier or A highest?
We have Terrifying, Really Good, and Solid.
Okay.
Where do you think we should draft?
I think without seeing the other teams, because I'm going in completely blind for anyone watching. I don't know what anything looks like, so I don't have nothing to compare it to. I think I would stick it with really good right now.
Yeah.
Just like
I think we can look like rearrange some stuff at the end, but this is for sure one of the better teams. Wanna go on to the second team?
Yeah.
Cool. So next team up is the Amsterdam Avalogs. So
amazing logo.
Yeah, it's an amazing logo made by Julian. Yanma does have sleep powder. It does. So it's awesome. So this team, it has a great offensive sweeper in Haunter, which is super speedy and has a great special attack stat. And it can easily be backed up with Pokemon as Fletchinder for Tailwind. Intimidate Sandal if you just need to live some physical hits a bit easier. It has Fake Out on Banary, which is, of course, a very nice resource to have. And we also have Rage Powder on Hoppip for some redirection. This draft is generally quite high speed. There isn't really a good Trick Room mode. They have a Spritzy, but that's the only Pokemon except Why Not that is less than 50 speed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Spritzy being in C tier in this format is really cool because it's normally tiered a lot higher when you look at like Little Cup and stuff like that. I think it's a really valuable C tier pick, but like you said, I just don't know what the Trick Room's really doing unless you're facing a very fast team and you can make the base 50 still work in Trick Room.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of the faster teams though, so
yeah.
I just wanna go over the main modes of offense on this team. That would mainly be Haunter, Primplop, and Shelgon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly think it's like something that appeals to me a lot would be like Tailwind from the Fletchinder next to Shelgon, because I think if you can get Shelgon 2 out of 3 things, it has a really good physical move pool.
Yeah, that move pool is amazing. It's really good.
And especially even if you don't end up maxing it, Rockhead's not a bad ability depending on the move pool.
Yeah, for sure.
It does good. So I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
As far as like the Eviolite like claws or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, Eviolite
I don't think
claws is good.
Yeah, I think Hoppip with Eviolite's kind of useless. I mean, I don't think it's got enough HP stat to really make it worth it.
Yeah, and the bulk is very low.
Why not? I mean, you can run. I think you're going to basically be forced to run the Eviolite on it because I mean, what other item would you run? I guess.
Yeah. Sash, I guess.
But yeah, I guess you could use Sash in some cases.
But there's so many Pokemon that want Sash.
I sleeper lead here though. I think if you can get someone off guard with like a Shadow Tag, why not plus like Haunter lead or something?
Yeah, that's very scary.
That could be kind of crazy depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think why not? Oh, sorry, you go on.
Oh, I was just gonna talk about the overall weaknesses. There's really nothing that's like overbearing in terms of weaknesses. This team does have like a little bit of an ice weakness, but like ice isn't too common, so I don't think that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. This team generally has a very good type spread, I think. Not a single duplicate, I think. Yeah, not a single duplicate type to begin with. That's great.
Flying, there's like the dual flying with
Hoppip. Never mind. Never mind.
But, other than that, I mean, I don't really even know if Hoppip counts as a flying type. Does it get flying type attacks at all? I have
Probably not.
about Hop.
Maybe acrobatics or something. That's the only move I imagine it gets.
I don't know. I think this team seems like fun to play. I'm curious to see how consistent it'll be. Because if like the opposing players just find outs to their 2 or 3 offensive Pokemon, I think it could run into some issues.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
what do you think is the biggest weakness of this team outside of that?
I honestly think if it gets put up against a very slow team and they manage to not prevent Tricker from going up, then I could see them in a really good position. I mean, other than that, a lot of teams are gonna have issues outspeeding Hunter. There's only a select few mons, if at all, that really like can consistently outspeed it.
Yeah.
Without the additional support of something else.
Yeah, and with Fletchinder, you can really control speed, I think.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Does this one have fake? Yeah, the Baneri.
Yeah, Baneri.
I think Baneri's gonna be like almost a mandatory bring
for every match. Yeah, for sure.
To some extent.
I think Baneri can do some really fun stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, Hoppip's not the most offensive. I was gonna say I think Baneri gets Sunny Day, but the chlorophyll is not gonna probably do a whole lot there.
Yeah, base 35 offenses don't really. It's not enough.
But no, that's really all I have on this team, I think.
Yeah. Where do you think we should place it?
I think I would put this in solid. Like I said, I think there's scary potential.
Yeah. But there's big weaknesses.
Yeah, compared to the first one, I see more weaknesses.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty glaring holes, especially in the speed part, on the lower spectrum. So yeah, I think solid makes sense. So, should we go over to the Toronto Machamps?
Yeah.
Cool. So, this team. This team is quite interesting. Do you want to start?
Yeah, so I just want to start and preface that, if I'm not mistaken, this is their first VGC league. They've played in our singles divisions back and forth between like the last couple seasons. So this is going to be a completely new experience for them. So I'm not sure if they're getting help from any other coach, or if they're just going in and winging this season. But
that's awesome still.
At first glance, this draft doesn't look bad. I mean, it has some really, really cool Pokemon. Togetic, unfortunately, since it can't run the Eviolite, not as scary, but it's still very bulky with the natural stats.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, you have like a fake out, intimidate on Scraggy.
Yeah, Scraggy is an amazing pick.
Yeah, Abra basically like for a little cut mon. I mean, it's amazing. It has so much offensive pressure. Base 90 is going to be like. Unfortunately, it underspeeds Haunter in this case. If we were to compare it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
Wacky with terrain control, which there's not a whole lot of terrain control still, even with NFEs in the format.
Yeah, I think it's still only grassy terrain.
Yeah, so I think that you can't go wrong with that. They have a second Intimidator with the Eakins, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Peach, or I guess Lightning Rod for the Togetic in this case, or I guess the Marill. I do think Marill's going to be like a sleeper pick, or like a very useful mon in this draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think it has 3 good abilities. Thick Fat, not as often, but it can come up in a certain matchup.
For sure.
With like Freeze Dry and whatnot. But Huge Power and Sap Sipper, especially with like if you want to do like Sap Sipper next to Thwacky potentially.
That's pretty cool.
Huge Power is probably more consistent. But Water Fairy is such a strong dual typing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have a decent trick, like a really good Trick Room setter. Unfortunately, also can't run the Eviolite, but the Dust Call. With Frisk. I think at first glance, what this team is just going to be lacking is like that Tailwind mode. If they're facing Tailwind, they can't match up to that. So Abra could potentially lose its speed advantage it might have. No, I mean that's.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid comment about this team. And another thing, I think they might be lacking a bit is pure offense. I don't really see a lot of offensive Pokemon except for.
Especially on like the physical side, I mean they have With Thwacky, that's basically gonna we'd be clicking like Grassy Glide like 90% of the time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's other things they can do.
Yeah.
Then the Tyrant, it's not a bad Pokemon, but it's just such a low, like mid-tier speed range that it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it
hard
really,
for it to hit off with Strong Jaw.
yeah, it really
Um,
needs the speed boost, I think, or some kind of speed control to
which,
keep going,
uh,
which is
but
yeah,
at the very least, they do have the Togetic for the redirection, and
absolutely.
if that's like their plan or fallback, it's just to redirect and let their slower mons get some strong hits off. That is
Yeah,
possible.
for sure.
I don't. Do they have a range setter for Palpitoad to kind of abuse, or is that
Uh,
totally there? I don't know
Probably
if they have.
Marill, I guess, but it's not that fast. Pichu, Pichu.
Pichu has rain dance.
Yup.
Nice.
And Abra as well. Abra as well.
Okay. Okay.
So
I will say,
Abra can set ring pretty fast.
order-wise, this is. I forget if the last team had a steel type already or not, but I'm not seeing a steel type. So as far as like the Fairy Dragon Steel Core,
Yeah,
that could be an interesting thing to be missing here. But also um a fire type. So like two typings that are typically weak to ground
yeah,
aren't being benefited by the fact that Thwacky has grassy terrain, which can lower the attack damage off like Earthquake, Bulldoze, stuff like that.
yeah,
So I mean it's an interesting combination here.
yeah, for sure.
Type wise though, or like weakness chart, they actually did a really good job covering most of the bases, I think. Again with the ice weakness, I think we're gonna see that in a lot of drafts in this format.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Ice isn't that common of a stab type though in NFE, I feel
Yeah,
like. So most of the times you're probably fine. It's not the most common offensive typing.
right.
Most may carry ice coverage, but not ice stab.
Right. Yeah, so I think this team's gonna have the same kind of drawback as the first team we covered as well, as far as like they have a good trick room setter. It
Mm.
just they may not have the other mons to be slow enough in trick room, depending on the
Yeah,
matchup.
that makes sense.
What I could running into.
For
But
sure.
I think they're super strong components. It's almost like the Cinderman draft where you draft a bunch of good individual mons, but I'm not sure if I see a lot of synergy overall, aside from
Yeah,
like the Pichu Lightning Rod.
exactly.
Yeah, that's really all I have on this team as of now.
Where do we want to place it? I feel solid.
Yeah, I would say solid. If there was a tier in between solid and really good, I'd probably put it there.
Yeah, that makes
Oh my
sense.
God.
Yeah, let's put it in solid. And let's go on to the next team, which is the New England Patriots. Oh yeah, the
Amazing.
first pick on Bidoof. This is a fun draft.
Oh wow, you're a brave person for this.
This draft is, according to me, one of the more fun drafts.
Oh, it looks very fun. I mean, I see Woobot down there.
Yes, they have Curly Shadows.
So first thing I will say is immediately the two D tiers are not gonna hold Eviolite. I mean, unless we can get like a moody Bidoof with Eviolite and just like sweep somehow, that'd be amazing.
That sounds amazing. I wanna see that.
But
For
like
sure.
Tyrogue, however you pronounce his name, it's just so frail, and I mean, it's just a good support Pokemon. That's really what its role is gonna be.
Yeah.
But this team, I think this team can apply a lot of offensive pressure.
Yeah, for sure. They have a lot of offensive Pokemon. For example, Swallows.
Storm Drain Lily pairs very well with Grapple.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember Los Angeles Letons in DPDL Season 2 having that Lileep plus Growlithe combo. And I must say, it's super scary because Growlithe can protect Lileep by covering its weaker defense with Intimidate, while Lileep can keep those water type moves away from Growlithe, which is very scary, honestly. I like that combo.
I think it's a very strong core. Wailmer, I'm curious to see how Wailmer's gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where that Pokemon kind of fits into this team because they don't have. Does Woobat get Tailwind?
I don't think so.
So they don't have a way to boost the Wailmer speed. I don't think.
Yeah.
think anything here has icy wind or anything either.
I don't
So
think
I
so
think
either.
that's going to be the drawback of this team is like they're basically capped as like on how fast they can go.
Yeah,
So
they're quite slow, and their best
yeah,
trick room setter is, or their only. No, they have two trick room setters, Curly and
right.
Woobat.
Which neither are kind of optimal for
Yeah,
that
Curly
role.
is very frail, so it's
Yeah,
not the best for setting up trick room.
yeah. I will
Same goes for
say,
Woobat.
yeah. And as far as weaknesses go, they do have a fairly large like fighting weakness, but they do have two psychic types and both being like
Yeah,
flint or fairy. So it's like they have 4 times coverage for fighting
yeah, for sure.
essentially. So I don't think that'll really be an issue.
Mm.
And I don't think there's a lot of problematic fighting types in this format to begin with.
Yeah, that's very fair.
But I do think offensively they have a lot of different options to try to go with
Oh
the
yeah,
hustle as well as, and then like the trap hinge can do damage if it gets a chance to hit, like to get a hit off. That's the main issue with trap hinge is it's like it has the base 100 attack stat, but it's just so slow. Um,
yeah, and quite frail as well.
yeah. I think Growlithe is going to be a pretty common max candidate unless they want to do like a more support oriented intimidate set.
Yeah, I agreed to that. I think
Uh,
one missed potential on this team is having a beat up user.
I was going to ask if anything had beat up. I wasn't sure if.
Nope, I
Uh,
checked. Nothing,
okay.
nothing does.
No, I think Lilip will also do very well here.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm just a big fan of like Meteor Beam setup. But even without Meteor Beam, if you can proc this, I mean, you can run like Scarf Whelmer, for example, and just launch out Surfs. Or
Yeah, I think surfing Whalmere is gonna be cool.
so I think there's some potential here.
Yeah,
But I
and
think it's just
Swilos is super cool as well.
yeah. I just think it like first glance, this team's just probably gonna get stuck in some really awkward situations with their speeds, just not being
Yeah,
able to adapt correctly to like going fast or slow. But,
agreed.
um, yeah, it looks very fun though. It looks
Yeah,
very
it
fun.
looks like a very fun draft, and I really want to see what they can do with this Bidoof.
And I is this the first team that has at least 2 fake out users?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so I mean that's something to note too. Meowth G, we didn't really comment on it at all. It's not a bad Pokemon by any means.
No.
For this format, it might still even be considered a little frail. It's fairly slow for a fake out user. So nine
Yeah,
times out of 10, oh, well, both of these fake out users in that fact are probably losing like a fake out like 1v1.
yeah,
Uh, but I do think like Unnerf can come up in certain situations. Tough Claws is an awesome ability if you can manage to get some hits off with the Meowth. So
for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think this draft is pretty solid. What tier do we want to place it in?
I think I would just put this one in solid.
Okay. Lot of solid teams.
Yeah. None of these teams are by any means bad whatsoever. I would probably play any of these teams and have some fun with them.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Okay, let's look over to Detroit the Watts. Alright,
my
it's
man.
this draft.
Oh, Clamperl. Oh no.
Yeah,
So
Clamperl is scary.
yeah, I mean Clamperl alone, I won't lie, strikes fear in me. All the experience I have facing a Clamperl, I mean it just clicks Shell Smash, and if you let it click Shell Smash, I mean it's gonna do a lot. Even though it has base 32 speed, that honestly usually gets completely like rebutted by the fact of
Yeah,
it just
for sure.
um but honestly um aside from like the Shell Smash or like setting up with I guess Squirtle or Clamperl, they both kind of have that
Yeah,
capability, I believe. Graveler A is really their only other big offensive mon. Larvesta is there, just slightly below it with its physical attack
for
stat.
sure.
I think Gibble isn't the greatest, just because it's
Yeah,
kind of hard.
Gibble is pretty bad, but it can hold
Yeah,
the Eviolite at least, so that's
that
cool.
is G tier. The Cleffa, I'm assuming that's just like a support role. I actually don't know what Cleffa's moveset is.
I don't know
Off
if
the
it actually gets access to follow me in the old generations. If it does, that's pretty good.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither. I forgot about checking that.
I think Luxio is going to play probably a pretty important role here, just with the intimidate factor. I do think if you can manage to get a gut set off with the 85 base attack, it can do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, 85 is not bad.
Um, I think the Licky Tongue is going to be pretty cool because I think with this format, there's going to be a lot more weather trying to be used, just because there's better abusers for the weather.
Yeah. In
Um,
deep pick, it's
so
kind of
I
weird.
think, yeah, so I think Cloud9 can be a little more useful
Yeah,
for this. That's never a bad thing to have, and it's fairly bulky, like naturally.
for
So not
sure.
having EV light shouldn't be too bad of a thing. Um, Weakness wise, I think this team probably has covered their weaknesses the best. Aside from like the ground weakness that they have no resist or immunities to, but everything else they have either have more resist or they've completely made it neutral for the
Yeah,
most part. What it looks like.
that's
Uh,
very good.
so as long as they can position and get their switch ins and whatnot correct, I think it could be a fairly successful team.
For sure.
Fake out wise, I think they're just solely relying on Squirtle, which isn't
Yep.
the best. Squirtle is very awkward because it's one of those mons where you want to click usually other moves other than fake out
Yeah,
in
like
most
water
cases.
spout and such.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awkward trying to build sets around the Squirtle where like you're forced to bring fake out.
Yeah,
But this team speed wise is also I think kind of a really bad drawback because without Shell Smash or like String Shot or whatever have you on the Larvesta,
yeah,
this team's gonna get outsped very easily.
yeah. They
But
really want to go trick room with this
yeah, this
Hatrim
is gonna be a very very hard trick room team in my opinion.
for sure.
In most cases. Um,
I can absolutely see that. I wish they had another trick room setter.
yeah, I wish the Hattrem was a fairy type. I wish it wasn't pure psychic. I know that gives it
Yeah,
more weaknesses, but I don't know. I think it could be somewhat beneficial.
it makes
Magic
it.
Bounce is cool though.
Yeah, Magic Bounce is really good.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Magnet Pull on the Graveler. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
that's
figure
really
out that.
cool actually.
I said that can get very techy if you were like to plan around countering a very specific steel type.
Mm.
It's unfortunate though because it's
It's
Graveler
weak
is a
to
rock
them.
type.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
so
weak to them.
you basically have to pair it with the Gibble or like the Larvesta to make sure you get the KO on that steel type. So
Yeah,
it's a weird. I don't
that's
know. I mean,
unfortunate.
it's not a bad team.
Yeah,
This team, they're just going to be very mindful of how they prep. I think.
yeah, that makes sense. And the D tiers, they had Gibble and Cleffa. Yeah,
Yeah. So Eli, I mean, you're basically putting on Gibble if you're going to bring it at all. I guess
yeah,
you can run it, but it's another case where I don't think it's going to help it too much just because it's so frail.
for sure. Where would you place this team?
I would put this one solid as well.
Yeah,
It's
I think that
I'm
makes
waiting to
sense.
see the terrifying team. I really want
Yeah,
to see it.
we want to see a terrifying team. And we're probably gonna do some changes towards the end when we have seen all teams and such. All right,
I
it
think
isn't weak to steal; it's neutral to steal. The Graveler.
yeah, that's your type. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I do think if we end up finishing all of these teams and we don't think there's any that are like super terrifying, I think
Yeah,
we move that tier in between really good and solid, and that way we can start splitting.
yeah, that makes
We can do it
sense.
that
That makes sense.
way.
Okay, let's move on to the next team. We have Kakuna Matata. I love the name. That's the first thing I
Oh
want to
wow,
say.
they got all the Gen 3 starters. That's really cool.
Yeah, so
This team,
I, I like
I
this
see.
team.
No, this team looks amazing.
Yeah,
I
this looks
love.
amazing. I like this.
So I'm not. Oh, I thought that was Combuskin, not Pig Knight at first. I thought they got all Gen 3 starters now. I got
Yeah,
weird.
unfortunately.
I
But
mean,
Pignite is very cool.
type wise though, they have so much flexibility with the different types they can bring.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we talked about ice weaknesses consistently. They have two ice types, one physical, one special, so they can cover both grounds.
Yeah.
Um,
This
I
team has a lot of stacked weaknesses, which
oh, they have so many weaknesses, but I think that's for the fact of like they almost have an entire team of dual typed teams, and a lot of the
yeah.
other prior just a lot of like the more singular types.
That's fair.
Um, but yeah, no, they have a lot of weaknesses, but I think that can be helped by just positioning and like trying to. I mean, I'm sure they're aware of their weaknesses they have going into
Yeah,
like certain matchups. So
for sure.
But there's definitely a lot of red on this chart. Just super wild.
Especially this rock type. This is looking scary.
Rock, fire, are
Yeah,
pretty
rock and
big.
fairy is looking very scary.
I think the scariest one is flying. They have a four flying weaknesses in a max airstream format.
Ah,
Um,
yeah, that's very true. Magneton
yeah,
is nice. Oh, Yuxi, trades only apply for week 2. The
okay.
free agency trades.
Did
So
they make trades? Is what they're saying.
yeah, they trade Bergmite for their mascot Kakuna.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that's very
Other
fun.
fun. That's
Yeah,
fun.
that'll be nice. So yeah, I just wanna go over these different kind of offenses that they have on this team, and it's a lot. This team is very offensive.
Yeah, this
Uh,
team looks crazy.
so to begin with, Magneton, with I think the highest special attack of all not leveled
So
Pokemon. Then we have the Firewater Grass Core, a very solid Firewater Grass Core. All of these 3 are extremely offensive, and Grovyle, it has 95 speed, and if you really want to make it even faster, you have Ice Shard or Peck on Fletchling to proc a weakness policy and get a burden boost.
well, priority peck is kind of cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, and then they also have Akamoo, which is a very bulky and very flexible Pokemon overall. Still very good offensive stats. Cutiefly is amazing for support, has screens, charm, speed swap, and a lot of cool stuff.
I was gonna touch on the cutie fly for one fact that like speed swap's typically really good in like DPEC or like Little Cup in
Yeah,
general because 84 base speed is like fairly fast.
yeah,
In this 84 it gets mitigated just a little bit, but I
yeah, for
think
sure.
if it's like a good matchup to as long as you need to outspeed something that's like less than 40 or 84,
Yeah,
it'll still serve.
I think it's great with, for example, Magneton to make it
Yeah,
get a bit higher.
yeah, that or something. Obviously, like Dwebble. Like if you don't have time to set up a shell smash, for
Yeah, for
instance,
sure.
if you a little faster, stuff like that.
Do you know
But
if Akamoo gets Bullet Punch?
bullet punch, I
I,
don't.
I think it does. So
I
you
can
could
check.
Bullet Punch into Weakness Policy Dwebble for the weakness for your weak armor.
Which is I love that tech myself.
Yeah. I
Oh,
just, and
oh,
they also have Fletchling for amazing speed control and Smoochum for good fake
it does
outs.
not. It does not get bullet.
What?
It does not get bullet punch.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. Pick up a
Does-
Bullet Punch user, Yuxi.
does
Honestly,
Pigman get bullet punch?
I
Oh.
think this team might be terrifying. They have so many good tools.
I was. I currently. I mean, I still think there's more, like a little more to discuss as far as like. I think this is one of the second highest, like you said,
Yeah,
offensively base totals we've seen.
for sure.
I think that this team there's just a lot to prep for. Like with a
Yeah,
lot of the other teams, I feel like clear Pokemon you can look at and easily like dissect like, oh, that's probably not going to come this week. But
yeah,
with this team, I look at it and I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, they have a lot of different options they can do. Like
yeah,
despite having a lot of weaknesses. Um,
yeah, for sure.
so I don't know. I really do think this team is. I don't know if I'd put it terrifying. I would definitely think I'd put this at really good though
Okay.
myself.
I think the only weakness of this team is the Trick Room matchup.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if the
I
punt
think.
gets Trick Room up, you're very sad.
Yeah. In that aspect, that's where I personally probably would have kept the Bergmite.
Yeah,
But other than that, I mean, I think this team at least has the chance. I'm not gonna say it's consistently gonna happen, but they have the chance to potentially like double into Trick Room setters
yeah,
because they have enough offensive power to potentially just prevent Trick Room entirely just by killing things.
yeah,
But I don't know. I do like this team a lot. I think
yeah,
it's got so much versatility.
yeah. But it
I think
also mentioned the type chart is pretty bad. There's
yeah,
three very common offensive typings that you're very weak to, even 4.
yeah. I think the flying is gonna hurt it the most.
Yeah, for sure.
See, now I'm torn. It's like the teams. because you can't just neglect the fact that the team has a lot of weaknesses in terms of like rating.
For sure.
But like I said, even then, like there may not be a team that has a big like max airstream user or something, for instance. I don't know yet. So I think this team's just gonna come down to how Uxie like plays it and how it is just piloted at the end of the day.
Should we put it into really good, by the way?
I think for now I'm gonna put it in really good despite all the weaknesses.
This is a very scary team and it's hard to prep for, I think. But other than that, it's a very cool team, but the type chart and the bad trick room matchup, holds it back, I think. Yeah. Wanna go on to the next one?
Yep.
We're halfway through.
Not too bad.
Oh yeah, this is Magmar team. Magmar is so good.
So Magmar does get follow me in this, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, right off the back, then they have 2 redirectors. They have both forms, follow me and rage powder, which you have to respect both of them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty scary. Volibee is pretty cool Pokemon.
For sure.
Unfortunately, like within this format, I think it's not as bulky because of like the mid stages that do exist.
Yeah.
But it's a good support anyway.
I think one very interesting combo that I actually missed at first is that they have Coughing Arch.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. The only downside to this is like Archon and like Little Cup or Deepak typically like with base 70 can outspeed a good majority of the format in draft if it was ever introduced into like Deepak, for example.
It is for season 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like current season and prior.
Okay, yeah.
But in this, I definitely think it has to be careful.
For sure.
Because there's a good fair like amount of mons that do outspeed base 70.
Yeah.
But no, I think Coughing and Archons is really cool to see in this. I think Coughing is going to be pretty decent all around.
Yeah, for sure. Coughing is amazing.
Yeah, because even like Magmar can be offensive if you don't want to run the support follow me set. And
this is no joke.
Yeah, and base 93 speed. I mean, overall, I think Magmar is a fantastic pick.
The stats are so good.
I overall think like Coughing Magmar could be really strong because its abilities aren't that necessary. I mean, Flame Body and stuff like they can both be useful, but it's not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Chikorita's a D tier is really cool. I think it's fairly bulky already, so Eviolite like support sets. I don't know its moveset off the top of my head, if like what it
gets some pretty good move actually. Including screens, it gets sleep powder, I think.
Right.
Some pretty good stuff generally. So I like that as a D tier. And Shellos as well.
Yeah.
Shellos is amazing here.
Yeah, Shellos and D tier is actually something like when I said at the very beginning of the stream when I was like mentioning I was about to play Shellos on like a Sun Core was something I was considering. Because
Shellos
was fantastic. I don't know if this was like just missed by us like when doing the tier list, cough, but but no, I think Eviolite Shellos is going to be fantastic and almost brought every week. Just because it functions so well in this team with Rhydon, Archon, and Magmar. I mean,
yeah, it covers everything.
That's going to be insane. I think.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, overall, this
is a good team.
I think this might be the first terrifying team. I think the speed tiers are probably the worst aspect because like they have base 93, base 70, but then it drops off real fast. Do they have a trick room setter? I don't think they do.
They don't.
So.
And another part I think we need to look at is the type chart.
Yeah, which I don't think this one's too bad. A lot of it's pretty neutral or pretty evened out for the most part.
Yeah.
The rock weakness, there's a lot of rock weaknesses as well.
Yeah, that's pretty common in Deepak as well.
Yeah. But again, I can't really count. I mean, this team has 2 of the better rock types in the format. I can't any other rock types off the top of my head that could be like worrisome.
Same.
So I don't know. I don't think the weakness like the type chart here is gonna honestly make too much of a difference. I think they have everything that they need to cover.
Yeah. So the thing about this team, while it doesn't have a trick room setter, I think that's something they could absolutely trade for.
Yeah, and I definitely think like there's like don't get me wrong, like Krabby, very offensive, very strong.
Yeah.
Is it necessary? I don't know. I mean, without Krabby, they don't really have an offensive water type.
Yeah.
Unless you do
I
get
could
like a bunch
say
of
trading Vullaby.
yeah, that makes Julian sad though if he's watching.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
for sure.
I think Snubble's a good support for a C tier. I think it has a lot of value for Intimidate. And
Yeah,
whatnot.
for sure. It has fake us as well, right?
I definitely can get rid of Coffee. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's some. I don't know what I would trade on this team. I don't. Maybe if there's like a D tier trick room user, do you get rid of like
Yeah.
trick since
Yeah. Other than that, I don't really know.
but I think this team is going to be another one of those teams where it's going to focus solely on just like offensive pressure.
Mhm.
But even if they like their opponent does get trick room up or
They don't
like
care.
Tailwind,
Or
yeah,
Tailwind, yeah, that they care
if they
about.
were to get Tailwind up and just outspeed them entirely, they have two forms of redirection. So I think they could easily stall out being outsped.
Yeah, that
In
makes
certain,
sense.
and then in worst case scenario, they also have sleep powder and whatnot. Does Paris get spore?
Yes, it does.
Oh, so even better. So yeah, if you can just run like Sash 4 and just stall out their max turns or something. So I don't think being outsped is honestly that bad on this team.
Yeah.
I think there's ways around it.
I also want to highlight this attack stat on the average attack stat.
Well, no, I'm saying the special attack set not super impressive. I mean, like obviously Magmar, and then like I think the next highest is Archon, which is funny,
Yeah,
and then it drops off the coughing. So like the special side,
it's pretty
like this
weak
team could
except
easily
for Magmar.
start to get yeah, this team could very well get hindered by Intimidate, like
Yeah,
recycle not
for sure.
um but not every team has Intimidate, so I don't know if I can really judge the team too hard on that factor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I still like this team. Where do you want to
No,
put
I
it?
love I personally would make this the first terrifying team. I would not want to face two forms of redirection and all the offensive hitters like that.
Yeah, I think that makes
Uh,
sense.
I think like prepping for Shellos on top of all that is just it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah, I think I agree. Let's put this in terrifying. Let's go on to Nightfront's team. Toronto Star Raptors.
All right.
This is Cypher. Wait, why doesn't these... Okay, there we go. What are your first impressions on this team? I like it.
Um, it's another physically offensive team. It's kind of got the same like offensive stat wise. It's still not as strong as the last one, but I mean
Yeah,
with Scyther, Mudbray, Girder, I mean all powerful hitters.
for sure.
Uh, I think this team they actually do have a really good speed mix in my opinion. I think that's going to be like the highlight of this team. It can go very fast with like max airstream boost with
Yeah,
Scyther, which I think honestly is probably going to be one of the most common like Dynamax users in
for sure.
like
The beastie is
this team.
so high.
Yeah, the base stats just so high not to Dynamax in most cases.
Yeah.
It has the 4 times rock weakness, but this team doesn't have a big rock weakness in general.
Yeah, one of the few teams that doesn't.
And even if that was an issue, I mean, they have if they can just like predict or like protect or something on or against rock types, they have Skrelp, and I am very biased towards Skrelp.
Yeah, Skrelp is
Um,
so good. I love Skrelp.
so I think Skrelp fits this team very well in terms of what some of their weaknesses are.
For sure.
Um, I think Zora is very funny in this.
Yes, Soro or Yamask. I love that
There's,
combo.
there's a couple different things you can disguise it as.
Yeah,
Yamask being the D tier again, like we talked about with the other
Yamask.
form with Eviolite. I think that's going to be like a no brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Turtwig, I actually don't know what Turtwig's moveset is off the top of my head either.
Me neither, but it's a pretty decent offensive.
I know it's fairly bulky. I know it can set up with like Curse if it wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, that's
it
fun.
gets Seed. It gets screens. It gets dual screens. That's
Ooh.
interesting, I guess. It does get Sword Dance apparently. So
something I really.
yeah,
sorry.
It's got some. Oh, you go ahead.
I just really like Quilava on this team. Eruptions
Oh, yeah,
are Eruptions
Yeah,
are
for
super scary.
for B tier especially, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. Either Scarf or Specs Eruption with Tailwind Cypher. I like that.
But yeah, this team they can go fast or they can go slow.
Yeah.
They don't have Tailwind necessarily, but I
They
think
have Tailwind on Cypher.
the Scyther
Yup, it
it
does.
does in that dex, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's very good. So they have
scary.
Yeah, it's a very scary team. What would you even say the clear weakness of it would be?
I think just looking at type charts now, I think it would be the flying weakness, just because like every Dynamax format,
That makes
max
sense.
air, it's going to be involved, and they don't have any resist to it, so it's kind of just like if they get put in a situation where they're facing like a max airstream sweeper,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. Because do they have a rock type? They don't have a rock type, they don't have an ice type, they don't have an electric type, so they don't have anything to really hit. I mean, they might have some coverage moves somewhere, like I think
like
Scrope
Mudbray.
or like Mudbray with Rock Slide, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be a flaw, but I don't know. I think this is it's another fun team.
What tier do you feel?
This one, honestly, that is a good team. I would put this one.
I'd say either terrifying or really good, of course.
Yeah, if we had a in between for terrifying and really good, it'd probably be there. I think I would put. Oh, this is so hard. I don't know.
Yeah, this is very hard.
Because I'm like trying to think back to like the other really good teams and compare them.
Yeah.
I think for now I would honestly put it in really good.
Okay.
I think it has, or not really good. I'm sorry, terrifying.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
I think it has the tools to be like
that
phenomenal.
Makes sense.
And I don't remember there. I didn't really say there's a lot of weaknesses for that team aside from the flying weakness.
Yeah, except for the flying weakness, I don't think it has any weaknesses.
Yeah, the team's gonna be very interesting to play against. So
Yes. Yeah, but except for flying, they don't really. I don't see the weakness outside of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they have Tailwind with Scyther, because that was gonna be my other complaint, but then yeah, if Tailwind is on Scyther in that deck, then yeah, they can go fast or slow.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of mid-tier speeds that can benefit from the Tailwind as well. I mean, even Skrelp, if you can do modest Skrelp and
for sure
just outspeed like the base, 60s and stuff, that's cool. So yeah. I'm walking in here.
Yeah. Should we go on to the next team?
Yeah.
Kolkata Corvette Knight Riders. So
I mean, for some reason, the first thing my eyes looked at was the base stat total averages.
Yeah, it's quite low.
Very average and low.
Yeah, I think the following up on that is this team has a problem with offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like his Torcat 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, is always going to be like a more supportive role. Offensive stats aren't really going to like make a contribution unless they do by chance bring like a Sword Dance or like a Dynamax Torcat set, which can work, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think like Dragonair, I think relying on like a pure Dragon's base stats isn't always the best because they don't
for sure
really utilize Dragon. So like that stab attacks aren't doing a whole lot on a draft in this format. And so you're really just using coverage moves, which you lose the stab bonus. Yeah, so it's, I don't know. I think D tier wise, they're all okay. I don't think any of the D tiers are really going to be great with like Eviolite. I don't know what the Pupa's moveset is. I actually don't know anything about that Pokemon.
Me neither, but I think it's a rather limited move pool.
Friend Guard is cool. I will say I just realized it has Friend Guard. So if you
it has Friend Guard? I had no idea.
I just saw that right now. So that does make it a little bulkier, I guess.
Yeah.
At that point, what are you pairing it next to?
They have two Friend Guard users. They have Clefairy.
Oh, hello. I didn't even see Clefairy up there. That's cool, at least. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're gonna, because typically, like historically speaking, in all of like VGC in terms of like Sword and Shield, Clefairy is always paired with like a hyper offensive like sweeper.
Yeah, and they don't really have that type of offensive
Yeah,
sweeper.
I'm curious what they're gonna pair those with to make it more beneficial.
Yeah.
I don't know. This team's very strange. They do have Trick Room with Bronzor, which is pretty cool. They can't run the Eviolite, which is unfortunate for it, but
Yeah.
um, but I mean, weakness wise, like type, looking at the type chart,
It's
it's
pretty
pretty
good.
spread out. It's nothing too absurd.
Yeah.
They got a large ice weakness, but they got a lot of ice resist, so I think that balances out.
Yeah, and ice, as said, isn't the most the
Yeah.
most common offensive typing.
Well, I don't know. I think this team can be very bulky if
Yeah.
designed so.
It's very
So
bulky, but
But yeah, they're just kind of sitting there. So unless they're playing more of like a stall game, they're going to be like parting shot, intimidate, like stuff like that to just
yeah.
slow down their opponents to the point where they're going to begin out damaging them. I think that could be a potential like win
Yeah,
con for this team.
that's play style they need to play pretty
Yeah.
much, I think.
Trick Room, aside from Bronzor, they have things.
Yeah.
Tailo, I think it's Tailwind, I would assume.
I would think so.
It's in the name, man. It has to. I'm gonna check it.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets Guts and Scrappy. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it has two very good abilities.
It does get Tailwind.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's interesting. What's his special attack stat? 30. It's unfortunate.
That's very bad.
And it gets Boom Burst. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think this team. I think the biggest weakness is just offensive pressure. I think if they don't execute the slow play correctly, they're just gonna get kind of rolled in a lot of cases.
For sure.
At least that's off to like the first thought. That's kind of what I'm seeing.
That makes sense.
I think we didn't mention anything about Grookey. Obviously, like another form of grassy terrain control.
Yeah.
Which I guess is cool. I think that's the only fake out user on this team as well.
Toro Cat.
Oh yeah, I completely yeah. So I think Cat's gonna play the primary fake out role.
For sure.
Grookey's really gonna be required to have fake out all the time.
Yeah.
So I think Choice Band Grookey could be really good since they really need the damage.
Yeah, they need the damage.
That's really all I have on this team though.
Yeah, same. I don't really have a lot of other comments.
No, I think rating wise, I'd probably put this one in solid.
Yeah, I agree. Solid. Bulky Fairthorns. Do you want to go on to that?
Is this team really bulky?
Let's see. It's not. I think. Kinda. So, yes. So, first thoughts. The first time I saw this team, I was very disappointed. There are 3 separate Persong users. Where is the Trapper?
No, that's fair. I mean, so I think, let's see, offensively though. Alright, so their special attack's very weak, but like from the physical side, I think if they can somehow manage to just kill 2 Pokemon really fast and then just set Perish any of the 3, that's a I think my favorite pick on this team is the Meta-type. I think for D tier, it being like fairly defensive typing, I think Psychic Fighting is really a really good typing for Eviolite, especially in a format like this. It's really not that bad, especially like since it has pure power as well. It can be bulky and like offensive at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think Meta-type's a super good pick. Especially if is this in draft order, like the way this is presented?
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, to get Meta-type this late as a D tier, I expected it to go sooner.
Yeah. One thing I really like on this team is how well they can utilize the Eviolite.
Yeah. Yeah, they got honestly
all three can use it so well.
Yeah, and I think Venonat's actually a really good bug type D tier.
Venonat is super fun.
Yeah, I think Bug Poison's really not bad at all.
Yeah, it has two pretty good 4 times resists.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
I think the Lightning Rod Cubone for like the Brionne is kind of cool. I guess
that's very nice.
Well. Yeah. Hustle, Inner Focus. I think Darumaka will always be strong. I think its speed tier is just kind of meh but having Tailwind, Prankster Tailwind Murkrow is always going to be a threat.
Yeah.
It's very hard to prep for Murkrow. But honestly, speed tiers don't matter a whole lot because Quash, if you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Quash is going to carry a lot of this team because I mean you can Dynamax basically anything that's offensive.
Yeah.
and just get quash. I mean, even like Sandshrew, for example, you don't always need to bring hail if you
Yeah.
can just click quash. So like I think that expands on the versatility a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, and they have Pikachu too. So they have 2 lightning rod mons. I didn't even see Pikachu.
Yeah. Pikachu is
Uh,
amazing with Light Ball.
yeah, I mean, and it's basically forced to in this format since it can't even consider running Eviolite even if it wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're basically running Light Ball no matter what in most
Yeah.
cases.
I think I really like this sheep heal core.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, and for the double C tiers, you can't go wrong.
With a heal core.
I think especially with there being a very like a low amount of like immediate weather setters,
Yeah.
like based on abilities, I think hail's never a bad thing to go like towards
For
if
sure.
it's cheap.
Mm.
Especially considering the fact that we've said like more than half the teams have a big ice weakness. I mean, this is
Oh
gonna,
yeah. Oh, that's
they're
very true. I didn't
you're really
consider
gonna have to
that.
look out. Yeah, you're really gonna have to look out for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this seems actually really scary. The more you look at it, I think like
Yeah,
without,
it's really growing on me.
if you were to like take Murkrow out of the factor, it would struggle horribly
lot.
with speedsters.
Yeah.
But I think Murkrow just kind of solves that problem with his Quash or Tailwind. Does Inkay get Trick Room? It does, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So I guess that is an option if it comes down to, which is also good to have.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
think
this is terrifying.
yeah, no, I think the only downside I'm really seeing now would just be like it's another team that's very vulnerable to intimidate cycling. Because most of
That's
their offensive
fair.
pressure is going to be physical.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of like special presence here.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have an inner focus Pokemon here, which is nice.
What is Venom at? Like, what moveset does it get?
It has some really good moves. It has Rage Powder, it has Sleep Powder.
It's Rage Shot?
Yes, it gets Rage Powder.
Rage. Oh, it does.
And Sleep Powder with Compound Ice, which is amazing.
They do get redirection. That's not something I really considered until now.
Yeah.
They get Morning Sun. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, Compound Ice Sleep Powder is very fun.
Yeah, I mean that's about it. As far it gets skill swap. Is this something it can give Compound Eyes to?
Tinted Lens is a very nice ability to give away.
Yeah, no, that could be funny if they can pull it off somehow.
Yeah.
But no, I think overall this team's it's actually really well rounded.
Yeah.
Weakness wise, if we're looking at the type chart,
Quite good, except for ground and rock.
Which the ground, I don't think like. It's unfortunate that both of their ice types are weak to ground. I will say that. So basically, you're gonna have to kill the ice types before they kill you. Is basically what that situation's gonna break down.
Pretty much.
But no, I don't think that's too bad.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I like this team.
Yeah, I'll say it's got dual fake out users, good D tiers. I would probably put this one in really good myself.
What would you say brings it down?
I think it's basically if your opponent manages to counter the Murkrow, the team kind of falls apart, unless like.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I think it's relying too much on Murkrow in terms of like.
That's
speed
fair.
Presence.
That's totally fair.
If they had multiple ways to ensure speed advantage, then I think it'd probably be terrifying myself.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Let's put it in really good. Shall we go on to the next team?
Yep.
Only 2 teams left.
No, that's been pretty quick, I feel like.
Yeah, really quick.
Oh boy. There he is. Okay. So, Electabuzz, does he get follow me as well?
Yep.
Okay, so my Nat Dex knowledge isn't too brushed up, so I'm trying to...
Same.
No, so I think Electabuzz, I mean, right off the bat, it's basically just an electric Magmar, in my opinion. It's going to serve the same purpose. It's a little faster than Magmar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that right off the bat, I think is a scary first pick. I'm also kind of surprised it made it to almost the end of the first round of the draft.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
I think I'm just going to look at the D tiers real fast. I dislike Goomy, personally.
Yeah, Goomy is pretty bad.
I think Chimchar's a D tier is interesting.
Yeah, it has good fake out.
Does Chimchar get fake out?
Chimchar gets fake out, yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Oh, that's cool, I guess.
And Impidimp also gets fake out.
Is for the C tiers, right? Yeah, so they have 2 fake out mons. Unfortunately, both fake out mons are more frail, so like it's gonna be a battle for Focus Sash.
Yeah, for sure.
Team. I think Frogadier is a pretty interesting Pokemon. It's basically just going to be like the special Raboot of the format.
Yeah, I think Frogadier is really cool, and I really want to see how it performs this.
Yeah, no, because I'm a huge Cinderace fan, but I hate Scorbunny and Little Cup. So I'm wondering if like Raboot or Frogadier is like the mid tier, if they're going to actually perform well or not.
Yeah, because Scorbunny is horrible. Scorbunny is horrible.
It's like it's just one of those Pokemon like you have to respect because of its ability Protein.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's gonna do. I actually don't. As far as type changing, I mean, well, it can go water, ice, dark. It has grass knot, so you can go like grass.
Yeah. It has a lot of typings that it can go for.
Yeah, and it can honestly, I mean, base 63, base like a physical attack isn't awful. It can opt physical set if it desired to, because then at that point it gets aerial ace, it gets acrobatics, so it can go for max airstreams.
Yeah. I like mixed sets. Just slap a flying move on there and run the rest special, I think.
Yeah. So
just for airstream.
Especially with base 97. This team's gonna be very fast.
Yeah, it's a very fast team. They don't really have a good trick room mode.
I'll say, but then they have a really good trick room. With Dottler, I think it's a phenomenal bulky bug. I think
Aaron is amazing. Aaron is really good.
Yeah, I'll say it's a little like trick room sweeper essentially. Pharisee can play the stall game.
Yeah.
I think Tranquil, honestly, I think Tranquil is going to actually be a really good C tier for this team.
Yeah, it's very valuable for C. It's basically a mini Criticus.
Yeah, I would say I like Pit Up a lot in Little Cup, so like comparing it to that, I think especially for a C tier value, it's not the fastest, but it's got a really strong base attack on top of it being able to crit often.
Yeah.
And typically it's just going to be launching like stab flying moves or like Night Slash and stuff like that. So I think it actually can pull off some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Drifloon, I'm unsure about on this team. Do they have like a way to like abuse Burden or anything on it?
I'm not sure if Frogadier may get Shadow Sneak.
It does not. It doesn't get Ice Shard either.
Okay. Then the only like setter I can see is Sucker Punch Impidimp.
Yeah.
Which is pretty bad.
Yeah, so I think the Drifloon's kind of in a weird place because there's no terrain. So like even if you wanted to like set Tailwind with the Drifloon, you're gonna just have to outspeed naturally, I think, which is it's kind of awkward.
That's unfortunate.
I think Tranquil does get Tailwind as well if they want to somehow squeeze that on their set. I don't know. I think this team for speed control, they're more or less going to be relying on max airstreams or like Electrowebs from Electabuzz or something. Which isn't the end of
Electabuzz is super good.
Yeah, no, I think Electabuzz is phenomenal. I think pairing that with like a Dynamax sweeper, I think is going to be like a go-to.
Yeah.
Height chart weakness wise, Rock again, and that's really it. I mean, the rest is fairly balanced. They have so many grass resist. Just funny.
And Frogadier isn't really a water type either.
No, not really. I'll say unless the only time that's going to matter is versus the one coughing team we've seen. So
exactly.
No, I think this team is fairly well rounded as far as speeds go. I think it can do a lot. I don't know. I think it is a little lacking offensively, aside from like the 2 or 3 Pokemon we've touched on a lot.
Yeah, these two and the Tranquil is like the main offense Pokemon.
Yeah. So that I think this team's gonna really rely on like positioning, but I think it has a lot of potential.
For sure.
I think ranking wise, I'm going to place this one in really good myself.
I think that makes sense, yes. That was what I was thinking as well.
Just because, like, I personally think round 1 picks, I think Magmar and Electabuzz were like almost go-tos for me.
Yeah.
Like,
that makes sense.
In the broad aspect of things, I think they have some of the most value in the format.
For sure.
Because they could do anything. So.
Should we look on the last team?
Yep. Wrap it up.
Yeah, this has been really, really quick.
Oh, Purloin. Hold on.
Ooh, Purloin.
This is a Little Cup team. Hold on.
And this is Little Cup, yeah. The only like big Pokemon they have is Skullbat.
Oh, they have the Lombre, the water grass.
Oh, right.
It's,
Never mind.
it's a second.
Lombre
Well,
is.
it's sad though because like it being a second stage, it almost has the same base stat total as a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
So,
I think so this team's very frail. I think that's my biggest issue as of now. Is it's just like there's
Yeah.
no. I mean, obviously you have like the 160 base defense stat with Onyx, but like Onyx doesn't do anything else but that, in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure.
So it's like this team's gonna have to. I don't know what you're gonna run Focus Sash on. You're gonna really have to make that decision, because Frillish oftentimes is always a Pokemon you want Eviolite on, so you're gonna have to figure.
But you
things out.
can't.
I think
You can't.
yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be an issue because
Yeah.
even Frillish, it's known for being a bulky Pokemon with Eviolite, so it's like it's gonna be very awkward. I think you're gonna have to rely on like Will-O-Wisp support or like Strength Sapped a lot. I think Purloin's probably gonna have to carry a lot here as far as speed advantage. I think Golbat in that deck gets Tailwind.
Yeah, Golbat is a very solid Pokemon, I think.
No, I think Golbat's super cool, especially for like a late pick A tier. That's not bad.
Yeah, these stats are so good.
I think Golbat Dynamaxing is always awkward because Poison is such a bad physical.
Yeah.
Max. You don't gain anything from it. So I think if you were to Dynamax Golbat, I feel like you're just basically clicking Max Airstream.
Yeah, it's an Airstream spammer.
Yeah. I'll say unless you get like something to at least hit rock types, for example. I mean, you get Crunch. I think Crunch is really good coverage on it. You get
That's Leech Life, which is cool.
Yeah, you get U-turn. I mean, I don't know. You get Steel Wing. You can boost defenses since we were talking about it being really frail.
Yeah, but the Golbat itself is actually pretty bulky.
Yeah, especially being having that flying type. I think it's nice. It's always nice being a poison type and being immune to ground because it's just so rare. I don't know. I think this team's just lacking in all categories in terms of like defenses and offenses.
About defense, look at this fighting weakness.
Oh wow! I didn't type chart pulled yet. That's that's not good because I mean, like I said,
that's not good indeed.
Because Frillish is again it's basically gonna be Frillish and Golbat. I think gonna be carrying this team. I love Purloin. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think Thunderwave and like the support things Purloin typically does.
Yeah.
I don't think suits this team correctly because this team's very slow, except for like Golbat. That like Thunderwave a lot of times is like it's still gonna be very awkward speed tiers.
I agree.
I think Houndour is an okay pick for C tier, but again, there's just like it's gonna be hard to get it into a position where it can do okay.
Yeah, for sure.
It can hit well.
They do have a redirector in Sentret.
Right?
It has Follow Me, but it's very frail.
Yeah, and this team's gonna be battling for Focus Sash. It's gonna be like you're basically like you can't bring Sentret and Purloin and like another frail mon all at the same time unless you gave like Purloin like Lagging Tail and did like switcheroo sets or something like that.
I think like Sentret Golbat would be a very common lead because Frisk is amazing.
I do know like I was gonna say Purloin doesn't have like a rain sweeper, but they do have Lombre with
Lombre's stats aren't the best though.
No, it's base 50 speed, and then it's like it's not the strongest. So maybe with Life Orb in certain calcs, maybe you can still use it in matchups where like you're hitting things that are kind of frail as well.
Yeah,
that's always possible.
All right, Houndour doesn't have solar power. I thought it did. All right, that's Radical Red.
Yeah. Makuhita, I think Makuhita is similar to like Metatite in terms of like I think it's a really good D tier pick, especially as a fighting type. I think
for sure.
If you can get Trick, does this team have Trick? Yeah, Frillish. If you can get Trick Room up, Guts actually does a lot of damage on this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess there is some offensive pressure with Makuhita there.
Other than that, the stats of Makuhita is pretty bad.
Yeah. Does Lombre still get Fake Out? I know Ludicolo does.
Yes, it does.
So they have.
I think so, at least. They have a lot of fake out.
Yeah, so yeah, Lone Brave Sentry gets fake out, correct?
I don't think so, but Purloin does.
It's not. So 1, 2, 3. They have 3 fake out users.
Yeah.
Munchlax. So me and Julian before the season started, we actually discussed Munchlax, and personally, like I personally thought I considered moving it to B tier.
Yeah,
I
Munchlax
feel
is
like-
actually pretty bad.
But we both agreed though at the end of the day, it's like it's still I mean, it's 135 HP Pokemon.
Yeah, fair.
And it does have a really scary like move pool from its physical side. I mean, it's like it's a Gen 1 normal type.
Yeah.
Normal types are crazy. They have every type move you can imagine. So like, if you can, I think you can get really creative with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Without Trick Room, like if you fail to get Trick Room up, it's the base 5 speed is gonna kill you on it.
For
so
sure.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how this team's played.
Yeah, me too.
I think it can be fun. I just think the team's got a lot of like. It's just not gonna be able to take hits well, especially from like if you're facing a very offensive team. I think it's gonna struggle.
Yeah, for example, if they face Kakuna Matata, a very offensive team, I don't really know how they will counter that.
No, I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
So that's really all I have for this.
Gen 1? What do you mean, Junebug? I am confused.
I guess we didn't really touch on Larvitar at all.
Oh yeah, Larvitar.
That's an interesting Eviolite. I think that's probably the best Eviolite user in my opinion.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's another gut sweeper. They don't really have sand unless they like max raw fall.
Yeah. I don't like the double rock ground type.
Double. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I personally think Larvitar is better than Onyx. Myself.
Yeah, for sure. Trade away Onyx for something better.
But
oh yeah, Munchlax is Gen 1, so it gets a very good move pool.
Well, Munchlax is Gen 4 technically, or whatever.
Oh yeah, fair.
Thinking of Snorlax when I said that, but it basically has the same pull from Snorlax. So
yeah. That's fair.
I get what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, where would you tier this team? Probably solid, right?
I would just put this in solid.
Yeah, that was every team done. Do you believe we should do any changes?
Oh, I think by the end of this, I think it's pretty valid. Can we look at the Avalog team real quick? That's like the only one I want to double check.
Sure.
I think this is the second one we did. I'm contemplating. I think after looking at everything else and some of the other type charts that we played solid, and then like looking at the offensive tools and capabilities this team has, I might put this one up to really good.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Other than that, I think I'm happy with the way this turned out.
Yeah, I agree. We have two very terrifying teams and some very good and some that have good tools, but may need a trade or two to just make the team more effective.
No, I agree.
Yeah. That was it then. Whoa, that was really quick. Yes, that was like 1 hour.
Oh, I'll take it.
That's
I love
12
team format, man.
Yeah, that's very nice.
No, I think this season's gonna be really fun to track. I'm curious to see who's gonna be like kill leaders and stat holders and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping to get surprised and see something super random just start killing stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Like in DPDL Season 1, when all of a sudden Psyduck was the kill leader.
Yeah, I faced Psyduck in all 3 divisions I played in, and I think I lost to it all 3 times.
That's amazing. Psyduck was really good. Yeah, but do you have any finishing comments, or are we done?
I think we're good. I mean, I think we touched all the bases.
Yeah.
I guess just quick shout out to all the Safari coaches. Wish you guys luck this season. I'll
yeah,
try to
for sure.
be around, but I think the server's a lot to
keep track of. Yeah, I'll make sure to keep an eye on this division as well.
We could definitely, if people had interest, we can always do like a mid-season checkup and kind of compare our results to
I want to do
these teams are doing.
I want to do that. Let's do that, Zach.
So and then of course we could do it. Like, yeah, we could do it. I'd be down.
Yeah, sure. That sounds cool. I really want to see
oh.
how our predictions or whatever turn out.
I'm pretty confident in them as of now, but we'll
we'll have to see.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well then, I think I'll end the stream then.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that was good. Well, bye-bye, people.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you.
Thank you. See ya, guys.